that'll be an outside pick, and that's not what the odds makers think. But I think George is going to win. However, I will concede that Maia could make him look bad and get him out of there in less than 2 minutes. He could do that. Maia has those skills that are so dominant if he can get to his specific positions.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that you're interested in this fight too, because it's high on my list, and I could not be a bigger fan of Masvidal. And for one reason and one reason only, that you see guys who go in the cage who look like they belong there, like they're comfortable there, which is a rare thing. He is that guy. Yeah. I've been a fan of his for years. He is striking solid. He uses his range really well, but most importantly, he does not lose his head when that cage door closes.
Yeah, Masvidal's a fighter. Period.
Oh gosh, as much as anybody. Yeah, and Maia, on the other hand, similar guy without the meanness and the aggression. Right? Masvidal looks like he's going to try to kill you in there. Maia looks like he's trying to finish the fight without anyone getting hurt. So you couldn't have more contrasting styles between two guys who are equally as comfortable in the world's most uncomfortable place in sports.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if you'll remember, when Kimbo got his name, Dada, what is it? Dada 5000, but Dada.
Yeah.
When they got their big break, it actually happened on YouTube because they were doing something that we were very ashamed of, which they were doing illegal, underground, backyard, bare knuckle, unsanctioned fights. You want to know who else came from that same group? There was Masvidal.
Have you seen his fights on there?
Yes.
I mean, that guy was born to fight.
Yes. He is a mean fighter. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness that this sport got sanctioned and is legal and it's above board, because the story of Jorge Masvidal could be told very differently right now if it wasn't for organized mixed martial arts. And it would likely, and I say this as a friend of Masvidal, it would likely be in a prison somewhere right now.
I don't know him personally, so I couldn't speak to that. But you see those backyard fights. That's a ballsy thing to do on a Sunday afternoon.
Bare knuckle.
Yeah.
On grass, in a backyard.
The fight that I saw, he was outweighed by a lot.
Like when we use the term for the listener, a backyard fight, perhaps the listener thinks that's the name of the... No. They're in a backyard of somebody. They're fighting on grass.
Not a nice backyard either.
No, they're fighting on
pool.
Bark dust. They're fighting on gravel. And Masvidal, at 20 years old, wrapped a piece of athletic tape around his knuckles and went out and fought grown men. This is a rough guy.
I heard an interview with him who said, I have no brothers in this sport. I'll fight anybody. I fight for my family. Those type of guys who don't have this whole false family thing that they've wrapped themselves around, that guy is a fighter through and through, which makes this fight so compelling because he's someone who can withstand pressure. He moves his feet well and he uses his distance well. He's got a great jab and a great cross on him. Maia, on the other hand, you know exactly what he's going to do. He could call you up 10 minutes before the fight. Here's what I'm going to do. But good luck trying to stop him.
Yeah. Good luck trying to stop me. Yeah, he's the Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson will let you know I'm going to come and uppercut you and put you down. Maia will let you know I'm going to take you down, I'm going to transition to your back, and I'm going to strangle you. And you still can't stop it.
If you're going to put money on this fight, hard to bet against Maia. So my heart says Masvidal. Would I put money against Maia? I'd have a tough time with that.
Hey, I'm in the same boat. The first time I met Masvidal, I was in Florida. And I was, I think, 28 years old, and he was 23. And we go out there, and we're in Florida. We're with an organization called Bodog. And I didn't even meet it. This is my first experience with Masvidal. I'm in the crowd, and he's walking to the ring, and Steve Berger's in the ring. And Masvidal, from the time he came in to, it was actually a set. It wasn't even arena. They blocked it off. If you remember the Bodog days, they set up this set. From the time he walked into the same room where Berger, UFC veteran, and that was a huge deal back then. Remember, if you could have a UFC veteran next to your name and then fight on the regional scene.
Berger could fight, too.
Yeah, and Berger could fight. Berger was nobody's joke. Masvidal, from the second he came in, and he was just a young boy, he was yelling at Berger. He was pointing at him. He was taunting him. He was telling him to leave the ring. This is your last chance to leave the ring. And then he got in and took care of business, and he never quit talking. He was on top of Berger and sat up and started flirting with the ring card girls as he's landing punches down on Berger and elbows to his face. He was flirting. I think he asked for one of their phone numbers.
During the fight?
Yeah, during the fight. And this isn't a close set. Okay, you have to take that in consideration. I can hear everything he's doing. There's nobody there. It's a closed set. We're not even in an arena. They had a different model. They were filming it for TV, and they wanted to keep it really quiet so they could produce this and release it over the next 3 months and keep the results quiet. So you could hear everything he was saying. For 15 minutes, he never shut up. And I remember turning to Matt Lindland right there in St. Petersburg, Russia, and saying, this guy needs to be in the ring with Nick Diaz. Because as fans, the build-up, and the fact that they're both street fighters, but the build-up that we would get delivered. I've always called for that fight. It's never happened. Nobody else has backed me on this.
I'll back you.
You should. Everybody should. Could you imagine a Nick Diaz versus George, and then turn George loose? Because people don't understand the personality that he has. This guy is a marketer's dream, and I feel like they've missed him. Now that's starting to come around. This is his big opportunity right here. But get a camera on that son of a bitch. This guy is fun.
He's a guy who doesn't make a lot of noise on his own, but with a little support and help, that guy could be a big star because he's got a great look to him. He's very rare. I'm not sure people realize how rare these true fighters are who are able to develop the technique to back up their heart and fighting style, and he's one of those guys. He has everything in my book that could be a big star. He needs a really strong promotional push.
So I go fight with this guy again. And now we're on the same card together. I was just a viewer. I was out there as a corner man. Jeremiah Constant took on Cain Velasquez. Pretty hard draw.
The good old boy.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty hard draw right there. And this is before Cain was Cain. So I'm out there as a fan. Ellenberger was on the card, and I was working his corner. So I get put on the same card with Masvidal, and we're going to fight out in Pennsylvania. A town that was very close to Eddie Alvarez and where he grew up. He was the big face of Bodog at the time. So I'm on that card. I fought this guy named Amar Sulawev, and I'm done. And now I'm watching Masvidal fight. And Masvidal gets done, and he takes the mic, and I will remind you, this was a televised event, okay? Huge arena in this huge venue out of Pennsylvania. Masvidal takes the microphone. He points his father out in the crowd, and he says on national TV, "I'd like to thank my pops. He's on parole in Florida and not allowed to leave the state, but he came out here to Pennsylvania to support his little boy." He outed his... I'm not speaking out of school here. Masvidal can't hear this and go, "Chael, what are you doing? You're getting my dad in trouble." No, George. You said it live on national TV. And I'm quoting, "He's not allowed to leave the state, but he left anyway to come out to Pennsylvania to support his little boy." And I'm like, there is something you can do with this kid. Some promoter needs to grab this guy. He's nasty. He's young. He's real. I mean, anybody,
how old is he now?
anytime.
Is he that young anymore?
Well, by MMA,
he just got started early.
Yeah, he's over 30 now. But yes, by MMA terms, yeah, he is young. I mean, 30 used to be done, but guys are going to their 40s. You've got the Bernard Hopkins and the George Foremans and the Randy Coutures of the world that are going later. So yeah, he is young, but I feel like he's getting his start late. If you go and you read his record, Ryan, you will be blown away and go, "Oh my God, Masvidal fought that guy. Oh my God, Masvidal beat that guy." But he didn't get the exposure. And a lot of guys have that same plight where getting discovered and getting into the big organizations is tough. But then once you get in, manipulating the system and getting the mandate of the fans and getting pushed to higher and more profile fights, it's tough. It's a game.
It's a total different skill set, though. Most people don't have it.
And most people don't even know they need to do it.
And most managers don't know how to take an athlete and help elevate them there.
I fully agree with that. And Masvidal, I guess the point I'm trying to make is for some people, Masvidal is brand new. It's like, no. This guy is as tried and true of a veteran as Demian Maia times 3.
Agreed.
If you go check his record and you check his experience and how many fights he's had and been in there with veterans and done heavy lifting, he has 3 times the experience of Demian Maia. But Demian was one of those guys, he burst right on the scene. His very first fight, he got a performance bonus. And boom, he was set. Next thing you know, he's standing across the ring, championship fight from Anderson, about to fight for the title. So, Maia was just one of those guys that got a little quicker. Conor McGregor, very first fight, demands the knockout of the night, gets the knockout of the night, becomes an overnight success. Then you look at a Masvidal, and so many people go, "Well, who's this young guy?" It's like, no, this isn't some new guy. This is a veteran. He's just now getting his chance.
I guess the question is, and with Maia, you have to think of an athlete this deep into their career, how much damage have they taken outside of the cage? Maia's a guy who probably, I'm guessing, doesn't get into huge slugfest during training sessions because that's not what his fight style is like. He doesn't take a lot of damage during fights. That can end up being the deciding factor when you have two guys that are in some ways evenly matched, although their styles are different. What is the toll on their body that they've taken to get to that point?
Sure.
For me, let's pack Maia aside for a minute because jiu-jitsu guy, he doesn't have the body type or the mentality or the temperament that he's going to kill himself in training. Masvidal doesn't look beat up to me. He doesn't look like a fighter who's had, I don't know, what's he have, 30 fights or more at this point? So that'll be an interesting thing to see if he gets a promotional push that he needs, fighting better and better guys, how's his body going to hold up? My guess is, just looking at him, how he moves, how he fights, that's not going to be an issue.
I agree with that. That's a deep assessment, but you make a very good point. I mean, a fighter's age isn't just that number next to relative to when he was born. The miles on that car